Hello, friends, and welcome back to another video with me, Soulful. How are you? Um, hmm. I have been absent from the YouTubes, and I decided that it was time to actually make a video because I have been absorbing a lot of information lately and taking time and mastering my body, working hard on my mind and heart. But despite all of that, I cannot always be by myself, always doing all this stuff alone and transmuting things and doing stuff alone. And I have my book here where I am going to actually talk today with you guys, those who are willing to listen, which you'll see in the title what this is all about. I'm going to be talking about the importance of occult and your personal transformation if you are going through one. Doesn't matter what kind of transformation it is, but we are going to touch deeply here on the topics of soul transformation, okay? Personal transformation, alchemical process, and the phoenix itself, okay? The phoenix process, as a lot of symbolism talks about it. So I have my notes right here in my book, and I just want to go over my bullet points here of what it is that I feel I need to speak about. Okay. So, the first thing I want to talk about is how transformation is deeply tied into the occult. Okay, you guys may see me look now and again at my notes down here, all right? Both of these journeys are into the unseen. And why this is important, you might ask, is that if you're actually going through a soul awakening, a soul transformation, becoming aware of your soul, the information that you have just readily available is not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to be able to help you within an alchemical process. And if you are going through something as harrowing as I did in 2016, where you are not only having a spiritual awakening, and you've perhaps been an atheist your entire life, okay, and you are now becoming aware of higher levels of consciousness and your soul, which is happening to people on multiple levels right now. It's happening to a lot of people I never thought I would see having awakenings or being interested in hidden information. So why I say having occult knowledge and not just esoteric spiritual knowledge, which they can coincide. Okay, they can coincide. But having occult information at your disposal is vital to learning how the mind actually works. And there are so many snares and traps and pendulums and things that can get in the way of you actually becoming what you may have heard a lot of people talk about it, a sovereign soul, a sovereign being. Because when your soul actually begins to be a part of your process and your life here on planet Earth, it is making itself known to you within the heart space. It is going to come along with perhaps soul pain, and soul pain is a lot different than your average pain that you would get, like heartache. It is tied to timelines. It is tied to past lives. It is tied to deep wells and hidden wells of emotion from things you may have encountered in different past lives, as some people call that, or different reincarnations or incarnations, right? So having access to symbolism and things like that becomes very aware. You become very aware of how your reality is actually filled with not only symbolism, but reflections and mirrors and traps and all these things that can get you caught up into systems that you really don't want to be a part of. And that is if you are looking to claim your sovereignty. We have a lot of orders and occult orders out there where they tout an ideology, and this ideology can even be rooted in spiritualism and religious doctrine. And these are other ways of getting yourself caught up in the pendulum trap or the polarity trap of light versus dark. Okay. And that happens a lot more than you think in all kinds of circles, in New Age circles, in Hinduism, spirituality, in Christianity, especially, and even in New Age circles, Buddhism. They're all things that you can work through, but they are systems. They're systems that you may encounter, and that's why having occult knowledge to your disposal is so important. If you're a visitor to my channel, out of the 4,000 something of you that have been coming here, I've lost some followers due to my negligence. Okay. As you guys see, you'll learn this about me, and you probably have. I do things in my own time as I feel like doing them. But those of you who are actually here, and new subscribers I have received who are here to actually take in any esoteric or information that I may have, you may have noticed that I talk a lot about mystical principles. And if you're here for tarot readings, that's exactly what you're doing. Exactly what you're doing here on my channel while I hold my tiny microphone like this, is getting tarot readings. And tarot itself is a tool of the occult. Okay, it is a tool. It is an esoteric tool that has existed for a very long time, just like the runes are a mystical tool. I want to say more like a mystical tool, but the occult knowledge hidden within tarot, and even that reflects itself in oracle cards, which have a lot more esoteric meaning and creativity going on within them. They're filled with symbolism from occult, and also from occult orders. Even these are all things that you're going to find when you're on my channel looking at tarot readings. You're going to hear me talking about it. If you've been following my readings for a long time, you may have actually uncovered processes within yourself through my readings. I've had people tell me they've done that. They've come to me for personal readings, and then they start having spiritual awakenings, or they start experiencing things in their reality that they are unknown to them, like synchronicities and stuff like that. So transformation of the soul, transformation of the self into a sovereign being that actually has its own ability to understand that your own ability to understand that you are actually creating your reality is very tied into this. And the ignition of having your soul awaken, okay, requires a lot of energy. It requires so much. That's why a lot of people whose souls awaken after a Kundalini rising, the energy itself is incredibly intense, and it clears out every chakra, and eventually you become aware of your soul and what it feels like in the heart, what it feels like to actually communicate with it, and to actually be aware of its existence and its past lives. You become multidimensional. Okay, you can become multidimensional the more in tune you are with your soul, because the soul acts as the arbiter, or the go-between bridge between you and multidimensionality. It is your access code to the hidden, and it is your access code to the unseen. Those who know me, and I don't talk much about my past. I opened up recently to a good friend of mine that I've experienced a lot of death early in life. And I only realized that after my awakening process, when the full alchemical process and the phoenix, okay, rising from the ashes, I only realized how important the relationship with people who have passed is after they've passed, as opposed to being here on Earth realm. Okay, these things I thought, I would never see that person again. I would never feel that person again. But once I became aware of my soul, I realized how much deeper the relationships with people who are gone from here, okay, their physical form is. It's like they never left. It's like I cry, I get the grief, right? I get the grief about the people that I've lost. But there's this unknown, like even now I can feel it. There's this unknown, it's a knowing that they're not really actually gone. And we have been warped. Okay, humans have been warped to be blind to the unseen, to not pay attention to the unseen, to not look for the hidden knowledge, because, that's scary business, that's magic, that's horrible, that's mystical, and that's bullshit. Okay, it purely is. And before you get yourself wrapped up in a system, understanding the hidden knowledge, even through books or videos or people who are, esoterically inclined, or people like myself who are constantly engaging in the process of mystical pursuits or mysticism in and of itself, okay? They are veritable fountains for your soul to be able to see what is actually underneath the surface, not only in this realm, but others. Anyway, when I started going through the process, if I did not have the mystical tools that I used, or the rites of passages that I used or was suggested by people, I honestly do not think I would be alive. I really think that some people can get lost on this path. They can get lost on the hidden information path, or into spiritual orders or occult orders. They can get completely lost and forget about their own internal sovereignty, forget about their own authentic self that they're trying to claim freedom. Okay, most people want freedom. They talk about freedom, and true freedom is within the soul. It's within that space where you're actually going to find it. It's not in constant self-improvement, which is good. Okay, you should be improving. I'm improving every day. But truly navigating this realm in the way where you can see through the bullshit requires to the inner standing, and a lot of people say that now, of what truth actually is, how truth actually resides, and without being told by a teacher or being shown by someone else, like, this is the truth, this is the way, and this is the whatever, right? You have to be able to formulate the truth according to what your soul is guiding you towards. And unless you have access to your soul, unless you truly unlock that within, and it's in your blood code, you're going to just get, people just get wrapped up in the same loops. Okay, there's just another order, another system, another pendulum, another, energy drain of your system that you're unable to see. And trust me, I've been there. And until you learn to not give your power away to another system or books or concepts or Hollywood or your pastor or something, until you learn to not give your power away, you have to understand how it actually works. And that comes from occult knowledge, hidden knowledge, okay? Turning the page. Anyway, so not only is the occult important because of the knowledge, but it can act as a mirror for your own inner transformation as it's taking place. One of the things that I discovered when I started accessing gateways and things like portals and being able to understand how energy, I feel it in my body and how it actually works and how reality works on the micro and macro level and universal, and also here, that I needed something to be able to compare my experience to. I needed something to be able to look at and say, okay, this is a mirror for myself. This is a mirror for what I'm going through. And what you will often find is that your experiences that you quote unquote are having, okay, are going to be directly tied to what you're reading at the time, especially if you're following your soul's guidance. Okay, your soul has a guidance system. It's going to know when you should be reading this book, or when you should be looking or talking to this person, or your guidance system. Once you're aligned with it, you will feel, yes, this is correct. This is deeply tied to my soul's journey, my soul's path. You will feel it. You will know it without a shadow of a doubt. All right. And having books, I was a hermit for years. Okay. Having books or an access to a library, or knowing where the signposts are going to get you even more in alignment with your soul's path, and get you more in alignment with what it is that you need in order to actually healthily experience what you're going through. Because not only will you be facing certain aspects of yourself which may have been warped, but you'll also have a dark side. There will be a shadow aspect to you that you will most likely face. And to deeply understand that, and the process that you're going through when your shadow appears and you're literally facing the darkest parts of yourself, you could lose your mind. You could literally lose your mind. I mean, and I'm not dissing anyone out there or saying that, your teaching's wrong or the new age stuff is wrong. Okay, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, a lot of these circles and groups and things like that, they can lead you to a path of destruction. They can. I've seen people die. Okay, I've heard of people committing suicide because they dove into this stuff when they weren't ready, or because they thought they knew everything, because they, I don't know, picked up the most recent book on, spirituality or shamanism or gods and this and that, and they disappear. Okay, this kind of stuff, it's very real, folks, and it requires strength and fortitude. And if you had watched my previous video, I talked about the discipline of will, okay? Your own will itself and willpower. You will be tested. And I don't mean, I'm not trying to scare anybody. That's not what I'm trying to do. But if this is truly the path you're on, you're going to be tested all the time. And sometimes these breakthroughs will happen where you'll go, oh wow, like I didn't know I was capable of such a thing. And these breakthrough moments it's vital to have information. It's vital to know things, because it's one thing to say, oh, I know everything inside me, because everything inside me is truth. People think that. We hear all the quotes like, oh, the universe is inside you, right? You hear the universe is inside you, but what does that actually mean? Right? If a person is constantly saying, well, the inside me is truth, and that truth must be true because that's what I align with, so my soul must align with it, right? There are truths and there are frameworks for this reality and how it works. Otherwise, we will be creating a hoopla of a bunch of crap. Like, if I was to believe everything on my spiritual path that I thought, or had a twinkle inside going, oh, that must be the truth. If I was to follow like half that crap that I thought, I would have probably died. I would have probably found myself stuck in a cult, okay, or something like that. some cult or, believing in something absolutely, doomsday, or, I would have probably done that if I believed everything that my head was telling me came from my heart. That is why understanding the mind is more powerful than understanding emotions when you're doing this kind of work. I'm not saying emotions aren't important. They're actually pretty damn important, if not powerful. Okay. But if you can't control your mind, you can't control your reality. You can't, and I don't mean control in a negative way where you're trying to control everyone and everything like a freak. Okay. I'm talking about if you can't understand your reality and how it works and how the hidden and unseen worlds actually work, or how they are a part of you, you're in a bubble. Okay, it's just you're just making a creative bubble, and so things like alchemy and tarot are really important. And the soul's transformation process is not an easy one. And soul pain, you may find, is very hard to handle, especially for those, and I'm getting more and more messages every day of people who are uncovering their soul's imprint in this time frame. And it's waking them up, and they're having what a lot of people call dark nights of the soul, okay, is enlightenment itself, okay, becoming enlightened through the painful process of your soul waking up, okay. And anyone who says, oh, it's this, this peaceful, I woke up one day and then suddenly I was enlightened, like, no, it's I'm sorry, but the reality is the world we live in here is full of weaponized spiritual traps. Okay, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. You can make it simple, but yeah. And the role of destruction in the alchemical process when it comes to transformation of the soul, to lead your experience, it's part of that ignition. It's the ignition of the soul, the fire of the soul. And let me say this: there have been peaceful awakenings. People have had very, very peaceful awakenings where they just, for some reason, their soul is highly enlightened, and it just knew things, maybe even since they were born. They had a highly enlightened soul. So there are peaceful awakenings, but in this day and age, we're going to have a lot more people waking up in ways that are not. And the reason for that is activation has been kept from humans for a long time. We don't have bodhivats, I forget how to say that word, roaming around everywhere. We don't have masters roaming around everywhere with awakened souls, tapping into groups of people. Okay? It's just not happening. It's not happening. So, more often than not, we're going to have people waking up in pretty painful ways. Anyway, let me just go over my notes here. The last thing I want to talk about, since a lot of people are here mostly for tarot, is the archetypes. Tarot archetypes and tarot symbolism is very important when you're going through the process of understanding reality here. The symbolism that exists in tarot, like, say, for example, the Death card, is highly alchemical. So the Tower card, you have to make space for rebirth. And the Phoenix, rebirth through death, it's an inevitability to die unto yourself and to experience the flames and the ignition of the alchemical process. It's more like fire, and it burns through your soul, or through everything. Anything fake about you will face the fire. Anything fake. And it's internal. Imagine having an internal fire that you can feel on a soul level that's interdimensional. It's so painful that you will grasp for information, and that's where the occult comes in. Okay. Spirituality will help, but you need answers. If you're seeking truth and answers, it's not going to just be, oh, it's what I make it all the time. It's not going to be, oh, the truth is what I make it. Systems are in place that keep people on lockdown and keep the soul on lockdown. That need navigation. Okay, that's simply what I'm saying. So, please, guys, feel free to leave a comment down below. I do like people sending me private messages. I get that a lot more. I guess maybe you guys are loners, kind of like I am. But I just wanted to say that feel free to leave a message down below. Say anything about this down below. I am still taking on students. I have a few. Usually this time of year is a little bit more calm, not as many. And I've thought about making a tarot course. I don't know if I want to. But for the most part, I'd like to hear your guys' opinions, your reflections on this. Are you going through an awakening? Are you going through an activation? Are you learning about your soul and about the hidden and the unseen and the things that, you didn't know that now you know, which is how reality is, how it actually works. I want to know people's input. Have you learned anything here on my channel? Is there anything that you've grown from by getting readings from me out of the hundreds of people I've done readings for and the many, many repeats? Some of you have come back to me and have said, how did you know that? How did you know that? Because my soul can see into the unseen realms. That's how. I am fully primed, fully in alignment with my soul. It knows the way, and humans need the soul. We need a soul. We have a soul for a reason, and once that is in line with the mind, you'll find that you're a powerhouse. You're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. You just are, and you're going to continue to see secrets unfold before you on a daily basis. And you'll be in sync with everything around you as well, and your intuition and your psychic abilities. And my dream time's very intense. I have very intense dreams about people and connections, and I go places. So if any of this interests you and you want to be a student of mine, email is down below. I have slots available still for that. I am still doing mentoring for that. If you want to learn tarot, if you want to learn about hidden information, if you want to, if you're going through an initiation process, you know where to find me. Okay. Have a great rest of your November, and I'll see you guys soon. Sending all my love.